I am Tony Semino, in case you guys don't know who I am. My name is Tony Semino. I am the VP of Business Development here at ROK Financial. And if you watched a video from the past couple of years of me on social media, I started every video with that. Hi, guys. I'm Tony Semino, VP of Business Development at ROK Financial. We learned don't do that anymore, but that's one marketing tip that you've already gotten. So you've already gotten your money's worth. No, I'm Tony Semino. I'm our VP of Business Development. What that means is I make sure that we have leads to work on. You guys do that for me, if I'm being honest, though. All of our business comes through the affiliate channel here at ROK Financial. So we are definitely excited to be on with you guys. Definitely excited to get a chance to rock out with you, and provide some resource and some insight back to you guys based on what it is that we do and how we help business owners. So couple quick things that I want you to be able to kind of take away from today is how can you set yourself apart with your marketing strategy, right? How should you be reinvesting back into marketing, right? What are the most popular products, industries, or any other marketing insights that can be provided? You're going to get all that and a ton more in today's presentation. But as we get into things with the presentation, I think it's important that you really understand some of the basics of marketing. We're not going to go into the what is it, 4 Ps? 4 Ps: product, price, place, promotion, right? That's what it is. Look at me. Who knew, right? Shout out to William Patterson's business school for that knowledge. Definitely didn't forget that. We're not going to go into the 4 Ps. We're going to go into a few different things. But what is a funnel? A funnel is a process or a system or a resource, but more than anything, it's a way to turn strangers into informed prospects and then ultimately customers, right? As a business owner, as a somebody that works in and around marketing and sales, I can tell you that the warmer a lead is, the higher propensity for funding. Right. So what does that mean? That means that if we want to convert on a lead, it's much easier to convert on a lead that has been introduced, that has been warmed up, that has been qualified, right? All of that can take place within the marketing funnel. One of my favorite things to do is let things fall out of the marketing funnel so that they don't make it into the sales funnel if they are disqualified, right? So this is a big conversation that we have daily, weekly, certainly monthly, as to the quality of what's being generated and how can we increase conversions, how can we increase quality, right? I think that one thing that companies that are sales driven, right, all have in common are these things, right? Maybe they don't have the time, resource, or means to look at it on the same level or with the same attention to detail. But I can promise you, we leave no stones unturned when it comes to sales or marketing, because we believe that there's really only one variable in sales and marketing, and that is your prospect, right? That is the person on the other end receiving the marketing, receiving the sales calls, receiving the emails, right? So it's really important that you understand when I talk about a funnel, what I mean is I am referring to how things work to turn that person from a stranger into a prospect into a customer, right? So some things that I want you to really understand about ROK Financial. And when I say 7-figure sales funnel, the reason that I can say that confidently is because each and every month we produce 7 to 8 figures in revenue every single month, right? And that is not to brag, but it's to tell you that we have a lot of experience in understanding commercial finance, in understanding marketing inside of commercial finance, right? So as far as the affiliates on this, on this webinar today, you guys are at the crossroads of those things, right? So we want to give you all of the information. So some things that we're gonna talk about, right, is quality before quantity. And what do I mean by before, right? A lot of people want to know, do I want more leads or do I want better leads? Do I want better leads or do I want more leads? I'm a firm believer in identifying that target first, right? Once you know the target, it makes it that much easier to then be able to go and really leverage that target correctly, right? So like I said, quality before quantity, right? A lot of different things are going to come into play with that. You know, it's really going to be based around the types of prospects, the types of funding that you might offer or have access to, right? It might come down to different means of obtaining the data or the prospects, right? So all of this should be assessed when you're talking about quality before quantity, right? All data is good data. Except for dirty data, right, Megan? No data, dirty data is basically no data at all, right? And what I mean by dirty data is inaccuracies, right? Formatted telephone numbers that don't have enough digits, right? Emails that might not convert, right? Those things that I wouldn't even count that, right? But if you know that you've been able to scrub the data and verify email addresses or verify a mobile phone number, well, then all data is good data. And what do I mean by that? Well, I'll give you a small example. ROK Financial, we specialize in assisting those that are existing businesses, right? And when I say an existing business, I mean somebody with like 3 to 6 months plus time in business. And if that's the case, if you don't have 3 to 6 months time in business at the least, then there's really not many options for you, right? One of the things we can do is equipment financing. Well, if you don't need a piece of equipment and you don't meet the minimum time in business, then some would say that's bad data. Some would say that's unqualified, right? I believe that even unqualified data is still great data, right? Because guess what? Then we can retarget that data. You know what happens if somebody starts a business today, 90 days from now? They have 3 months time in business. So if you are somebody that is in this for the long haul, if you are somebody that really understands that financing is not an if, it's a when, and when businesses need that financing, you want them to think of you, well, then understand that all data is good data, and being able to retarget that data is certainly going to help you out. Content is king, right? When I say content, right, I'm talking about what those customers see and how they see it and what it looks like and what it might, how it might affect them inside of their business, right? By you, here, I'm gonna give you a secret. You want to know a secret? Quick little secret is when you talk about content, right? It's literally everything. It's the image, it's the video, it's the context, it's the caption. It is literally everything that goes along with any form of marketing, right? So I'm talking about content being king, but understand that content comes in many different forms. A lot of people think like, oh, I have to have like this setup like Tony and I got to get in front of a webinar of hundreds of people. No, no, no. I promise you, my one-off emails are also content, right? A lot of you guys get our emails, so I know you know what I'm talking about, right? In the chat, let me know if you get our success story emails or if you were invited to this webinar via email. Let me know in the chat that you were somebody that heard about this through email. I love it. Katrina says yes. Anita says yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. So it means it works, right? It means it works. Just so you guys know, I don't know if you see the yeses from Jude and Anthony and Danny and Dr. Joe. Like, you see the yeses, right? So it obviously works, right? And I'm not trying to I'm not trying to do anything other than oversimplify for you guys, right? Because I think when we think marketing, we think we're gonna need some mind that worked at Google or worked at Amazon or turned Square payments into what they are today. Um, I don't know any of those people. I think I'm a halfway decent marketer, though. My wife might argue that point. She's in marketing and has been for a long time, so she might argue that. But I think I'm decent at it. So you don't have to take my word for it, but I promise you, I believe simple is effective, and that's the way that I like to communicate these things. Right? Analyze like a robot. What do I mean when I say analyze like a robot? Well, what I'm talking about there is you should really be able to measure results. You should really be able to fine tune and refine things to create higher conversions, better ROI on where you're spending your time, money, and resources. That's really what I'm talking about, right? And analyzation is the biggest piece to marketing, right? What's working, what isn't, do more of what's working and less of what's not, right? Those are the things that I would say. So when you're the financing opportunity, right, is one of those things that it's not always what a business owner needs today. Right. And when I say that, what I mean is like, you wouldn't believe how many people offer something that like people could use today. I was at a networking event last night, and it's a small local networking group that I'm a part of. I'm sure really quick in the chat. Anybody here in a small networking group or a local networking group? Let me know if you're doing some networking. I would love to hear it in the chat. Katrina says, of course. Right. That sounds like a silly thing, right? I can hear people reacting, right? Bob's in the chamber, a lot of you guys, BNI, right? Alignable. I love it. Social networking groups. I'm all about it, right? So I was at one last night, and one of the women that I was speaking to, that's a part of my group, she's a therapist, right? She does like therapy, like you talk to her and tell her your problems, I think. No, I'm just kidding, right? But what I was saying to her is like, our businesses are kind of similar. And, we were talking with the physical therapist in the group, and I'm like, our businesses are kind of similar. And they're all looking at me like, dude, you sell money. I help people with injuries, and I help people who are looking for somebody to talk to, right? So like, when you look at it on the surface, you might think that like those businesses aren't all that similar, right? But let me give you a different example. Did you guys eat today? Anybody eat today? I haven't had much to eat today, so I am chewing gum, but I haven't had much to actually eat. Well, if you ate today, there's a good chance that you purchased that food somewhere, right? So Keith, who's also in my networking group, he owns a local catering and like barbecue at your house type of caterer and catering business, right? Keith also owns like a local sandwich shop that from Mondays through Fridays is open during lunchtime for all the local businesses to go in and buy lunch, right? I've bought lunch at Keith's business, right? It's much easier for me to go refer Keith business and buy lunch at his place than it is for Keith to refer me business as the person who sells money to businesses who need it, right? Or for Keith to refer to Jonathan, the physical therapist, right? It's difficult for Keith to refer somebody to Jonathan. If they're not injured from some sort of sport injury, then Jonathan can't really help them. I was saying to the therapist, I was like, listen, life is your biggest fan, right? Life is your biggest supporter. Meaning, like, the more life people experience, the better chance that they're going to need your service, right? So like, what I was saying to them is we're not an if, we're a when. And when you need somebody like us, you want somebody like myself, Jonathan, and our other colleague, to help you out, because we run real businesses that focus on real things. But ultimately, the reason that I tell you that is because some businesses it's easy to refer to, others it's not. Our business is not easy to refer to. Not every business owner wakes up today and says, I need a $250,000 line of credit. I wish they did. That would mean 33.5 million prospects today are available for us to work. That's just not the case. Right. So how do we get around that? Well, it's these things, right? And the ultimate statistic, right? The only one that matters, the great equalizer, is conversion. It's conversion, right? Meaning that I believe start at the end, right? What is it that you're actually looking for, and then back out of that and get to that point, right? Figure out what all the little things might be along the way, right? Like, so for us, the way that we measure things, right? And what I'm talking about is, obviously we're tracking who accepts funding and who doesn't, right? But the next layer of that becomes who got approved and who didn't, right? The next layer becomes who applied and who didn't. The next layer becomes who answered the phone and who didn't. The next layer becomes, did we ever get a lead or didn't we? Right? So there's layers to it, right? But what happens is you'll get people that are caught up in, oh, I have $500,000 in loan requests with you guys, right? That's fantastic. If I would call my bank today and request $500,000, right? But that doesn't mean that I'm going to go get it, right? So again, let's say even approvals, right? Approvals are a great thing to track. Let's say you were approved for $500,000. That's a fantastic place for us to be in. But if they haven't quite converted yet, nobody made any money, and we shouldn't worry about anything unless we get to that point of the statistics. So just keep that in mind, right? I know a lot of people get caught up on some of the numbers and some of the different things that might come up. Like, it really does, it really does inhibit your ability to see what matters. So one thing I wanted to make sure that you guys understand leaving today is that opportunity is abundant. Really quick in the chat, do you agree with the statement that opportunity is abundant? Please tell me that you don't, because I would love to be able to show you that it does. And the reason that I say that is because I hear from people from time to time that like they don't see what we see. And I understand that you might not see that, but just understand that Rock Financial is one piece within this industry. And yes, we might fund a lot of deals, but we don't fund all of the deals, right? As much as I would like to, right? I would love to fund all of the deals, but it is certainly abundant. Like I said, there's 33.5 million small businesses, right? That's just the small businesses. We help small and medium sized businesses. Each of the points on the map that you see, on your screen here, all of those points represent different areas of the country where we are actively funding business. This map is not all that dated. I think it's like the last 90 days or something like that, right? It's very interesting how America has gotten to a point where there is no person or place out there that you can't really go find on social media, or you can't find a resource of theirs, right? So I'm telling you right now, if you really take a look at things, you'll realize that opportunity is abundant. Some of the most popular industries, I definitely want to make sure that I don't just skip over that portion of the slide here, right? So you got retail, manufacturing, healthcare, construction. You got restaurants and wholesalers and manufacturers and people who they're selling e-commerce or they're in the tech industry, education or professional services like insurance companies, accountants, attorneys, people in personal services. So think nail salons, hair salons, barbershops, you name the small or medium sized business industry, and we help. Right, so we have a lot of experience. We understand the ebbs and flows or the ups and downs of those industries, and can help those business owners navigate the commercial financing landscape with confidence, right? And that's the resource that we are and can provide. So, along with all of the data, right, we're also able to provide the experience so that they can leverage that experience, right? So here's your funnel. Right, I wanted to make sure we had at least one funnel within the presentation here, but here is like the most basic breakdown of how I would look at things, right? I kind of mentioned this before, but start with identifying your target, right? What industry, what geography or region, how long in business, how much money are they making, right? I don't know if you guys know this, but did you know that you can actually make more money when businesses qualify for more money? So let me give you a small example, right? The transportation industry, right? It's not the easiest industry to get funded. We see a lot of transactions in the transportation industry, but let me paint a picture for you. Picture number one on the left is a owner operator, somebody that has one truck. Okay, they've been around for 4 years, and they have one truck and they make $250,000 a year, right? That's side number one. Side number two is they have 45 trucks. They've been in business for 37 years and they make $17 million a year. Who do you think is going to qualify for more money? Right? When you know that there's businesses out there that you could technically just go target a little bit higher qualified borrower or qualified business, I can't tell you how much that's going to then increase your chances of conversion, right? There are a lot more players out there that will help more successful businesses than will help less successful businesses, right? Now, I have seen businesses that make $50,000 a month get approved for more money than businesses that make $1 million a month because of what Michael just mentioned in the chat. And that is their cash flow, right? Cash flow is the ultimate equalizer. They have to be able to afford what they're borrowing, right? But you can make some inferences if you know that they're making XYZ in revenue. They should be on pace for ABC in profitability. Next layer. That is to pick your customer experience, right? This is specific to your partnership with ROK. When you're going to refer business to ROK, I don't know if you guys know this, but it's all about your ability to make that a seamless transition for those borrowers, right? And I don't know which one of these things work for you, but I can tell you when I first started, we only offered a ROK branded experience, meaning that everything that we had to offer was ROK branded. And then we started to get some people who had requested it to be co-branded, right? So then we built out a co-branded experience. Then we had some people request for it to be white labeled, where there is no ROK brand, and it really only showcased their brand because they have a strong one and brand recognition with their customers. So we built that one as well, right? I don't know which one of these work for you, but the next layer to how you should define things for yourself would be to pick that experience. The next layer is then going ahead and marketing your landing page or creating a process around marketing the service that you have to offer, right? It could be ads, emails, images, social media. You can do webinars like Tony. You can go to events in person. You can go business to business. In fact, one of the most recent transactions that we did, where it was a newer person who had become an affiliate of ours, literally went into their local pharmacy. That's the word I was looking for. Sorry, struggled with that one. I had to say 3 times to figure that out. But no, they went into their local pharmacy. That pharmacy qualified for $750,000. That partner made $22,000 plus on one transaction, literally for walking into their local pharmacy. So just keep that in mind. They're all around you, right? Next, make sure to connect us, right? Make sure that we get the ability to reach out to that borrower, that they're aware that we're going to be reaching out, that they know what the process can look like. The other thing is if you use the landing page specifically, it's actually going to push them right into pre-qualifying and ultimately applying themselves, right? So that landing page will collect their initial information, and then it will say, great, if you'd like to complete the application process, please do so and click here. And then boom, it brings them into DocuSign. They complete the DocuSign application. They can either upload their bank statements to a secure link, or they can connect their bank account through Plaid, similar to like a Venmo or Zelle or any of these like payment apps, Cash App that are out there. They connect to your bank account through Plaid technology, right? So any of that is available all at your fingertips simply by utilizing your landing page. I'm a firm believer that you should utilize that landing page. Pro tip, save it as a contact in your phone. Then when somebody reaches out to you and says, hey, I need funding, you can literally just share a contact called My Landing Page link or My Business Funding URL, and you send that to them, and now all of a sudden they click your link, they're locked in, they're applying, and you didn't even really have to get all that involved, right? The next thing is you should monitor your pipeline, right? Track the conversions, leads to applications, to approvals, to fundings, right? The more leads you have, the more chances you have to get an approval. The more approvals you have, the more chances you have to get a funding, right? And that's the name of the game. Funded deals, right, is what we're looking for, right? You get to earn on each successful referral that you make, for the life of those customers. So it's really important that you leverage the funnel to get you where you're looking to go. But as you make your way through things, right, it's important that you know what funded means, right? I don't know if you guys know this, right? And I don't know if you got the Tony pitch, right? But what I would say is if you don't know some of our products or you don't offer some of those products, well, then it's really going to be of advantage to you to partner with ROK and to offer all of those products, right? The reason we offer all of these products that you see on the screen here is because we hear requests for them left and right, and we've been able to find real providers, and this is the key, right? I promise you there's a lot of people out there that will give money to businesses today, and every one of them believes that they have the right resource for that business. But what none of them are willing to admit is when they don't have the right resource or when they're not the best option, right? So what we do is we take that thinking out of it, right? We've vetted all the best banks and lenders out there inside of all of these different products, and we then offer those products and services as an extension of our own by making them compete. This is true fact. We make them compete for your borrower's business, for your customer's business. And in doing so, that really allows you to understand that your customers are getting the best rates, the best terms, the most amount of money that's built around exactly what they're looking for, right? Regardless of what they qualify for, regardless of what they're using the money for, we have a home for everybody, and that's the main the main point. The analogy I like to use, and I'm sorry to say it, is we got an ass for every seat, right? That's what it's all about, and that's the most important thing. Is you got to be able to service customers' needs, right? So at the end of the day, this is how we do it, right? It's important that you guys understand it. And if you're looking for more information on any of the products, please don't hesitate to reach out to your point of contact or me directly or really anybody at ROK. We would love to share that information with you. Um, Keep it simple, right? I want you to understand that it's really like a 1, 2, 3 kind of process. We call it the 3 N's. We need a business owner, and we need their name, we need their phone number or contact information, name, number, need, right? They need to have a need for financing. So we are able to help businesses because of their use of the funding, right? And this is the most important piece. So when you provide somebody, us knowing their name, their contact info, why they're borrowing the money, we can take it from there if that's the partnership that works for you, right? You can be as much involved or as uninvolved as you'd like. Sit back and earn those commissions. Every time you fund a deal, all commissions are paid the following Friday, right? So you close a deal today, you get paid on I think that's the 29th. Yeah, the 29th. 29th. Right. So it's really up to you guys, right? Benefits of being an affiliate, right? That besides the fact that you get to come to these awesome webinars, right? Like, because that's not on the slide today, right? Unfortunately, that one didn't make the slide. Is the fantastic webinars that get put on for you, right? But no, I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding, right? The benefits of being a partner, right? It's important that you understand that there's a lot of people out there that offer money to businesses. Not every one of them has thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot and various other review platforms. They don't have the same reach in the industries that we do. They're certainly not at all the industry events like we are, keeping up to date with equipment financing and AR and factoring and commercial real estate. And the beauty of being at those events, if I'm being honest, is getting to meet you guys, because you guys are in these industries. You guys are going to these things, right? So if I'm being honest, like, you've seen us at these things. I'll bet money on it and really quick in the chat, if you've met us at an event, whether hosted at ROK or hosted by ROK in your city, or met us at an event in one of the cities in and or around where you are, throw it in the chat. I would love to see who I might have met in person or had a chance to chat with. I'm a big people person. I'm a big face-to-face person. So I will tell you, I actually have some insider info. We don't even have a slide about this one yet. I'm going to make an announcement. I love this. October 16th and 17th. October 16th and 17th, we are going to be doing a free event, commercial finance mastermind in person. All of our partners, all of our reps, all of our prospective partners, you're all invited. It's going to be a free event out at the ROK headquarters on Long Island in New York. So if you are able to make it down, it's Thursday and a Friday. We'll have some great stuff going on Thursday afternoon and evening, and then a full jam-packed session again on Friday. I would love to see and meet some of you guys there if you're open to it. But I know we're going to be sending out some emails in the coming weeks about getting you guys there. Ready to use marketing tools, right? It's everything from landing pages and email and text campaigns to done for you flyers and ads to social media content, all available at your fingertips, right? And then really understanding that we're a fintech company. right? Financial technology. That's what we are. And as far as tech goes, we're constantly at the forefront of rolling out proprietary or industry leading technology. Proprietary meaning rock made technology, right? And we've already paid over $5 million to affiliates this year, right? So let's get you earning and let's get you rocking and rolling, especially if you're not quite there yet, because I can tell you, there's a lot of people that are. So definitely leverage us for why you should, right? I know I mentioned DocuSign and Plaid. I didn't directly mention Salesforce, but you guys all have direct CRM access powered by Salesforce through their communities experience, right? Where we've built out a custom portal within our CRM that you guys can log into and get access to all this great stuff. We also have a ton of, like I mentioned, proprietary technology, everything from the marketing part of things through the through the sales process, things like our loan offer calculator, things like our detailed loan analysis. I don't know if any of you guys have seen any of this, or maybe your customers have shared it with you, or maybe you and your business finance advisor have talked through some of these resources so you can have access to them. But it's basically a way for you guys to leverage everything that we have. I don't know if you guys saw, there's actually a new feature in the portal under the resources tab. There's a new feature in the portal. I can't believe I forgot to make a slide about this one too. Jeez. We've just been doing so much in tech and marketing, like it's tough to keep up with. But I got another announcement for you guys. There's a new feature in the portal. Really quick, in the chat, let me know if you know the name of the feature. Otherwise, I will drop it in just a second or two after I delay it long enough for you to write it in the chat. But I'm just curious. Does anybody notice the newest feature that rolled out within the resources section of the portal? Would love to know if anybody's used it. I can tell you somebody's funded a deal through it already. I believe it dropped last Wednesday, and we've already closed business through it. This section is called the deal qualifier, right? So basically, yeah, Tom Reed. Shout out to Tom Reed. Tom knew exactly what I was getting at. It's the deal qualifier, where it's an experience for you to log in, for you to get a chance to upload some information, basic information about the business, to see what products that might be available, to see what different resources might be available. Nisa mentioned that she used it, so shout out to Nisa as well. But I can tell you that it's a great resource, and it's not meant to be a replacement of any of your points of contact. It's just meant to be a supplement, right? So you throw some information in, it kicks you back some information, and then it says if you'd like to make this like an official referral, enter the contact info now, and you have the process rocking and rolling. It's really a great feature. Like I said, we've already had a partner close the deal, and they're getting paid today into tomorrow on that transaction because it closed last Friday. So definitely excited about that. Definitely excited to continue to revolutionize the game and really get a chance to work more closely with you guys. Again, a lot of the updates that are made are ultimately boil down to resources that you guys have looked for, right? So the deal qualifier, that's something that has been asked for a bit. We were able to put that together and get that rocking and rolling for you guys. Now I just want to talk about your experience a little bit. I want to talk about you being a partner. So you guys are active partners, right? A lot of you, some of you are brand new. Some of you have been doing it for years. I thought I saw somebody that mentioned 2020 or 2021 before. I know that we have plenty of partners that predate COVID that you guys might be on as well. But I don't know that everybody has a full understanding of what the 2025 version looks like. And that's the most important thing, is really understanding how do you leverage us today? Because unfortunately, it doesn't matter if you leveraged us 2 years ago. What are you waiting for? Let's get going again, No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Right. So every deal has a deal tracker status that lives within the CRM. Basically, you can follow from pre-underwriting through approved, ultimately, and getting that deal all the way to funded, right? You can track all of your progress. That we provide the direct points of contact information on every transaction that's being worked, right? So even if you're somebody that might not have the same person working all their transactions, a lot of times that is the process. But even if they're not, right, you can go into that individual transaction. You can see exactly where it is, what's going on, what's the stage, what's the status, who's assigned to it, when was the last time they reached out, did they leave any notes, right? and communicate back and forth. It also has all of their contact info, so you can connect with your partnership advisor. Excuse me, you can connect with the business finance advisor and get any more information that you might need, right? The last piece is, again, attend these events, man. You guys, I know I'm preaching to the choir. We're on a webinar here, so you guys are obviously attending some stuff. But what about in person? Let's get a chance to meet you guys in person. Let's get you out here rocking and rolling in person. I would love to meet you. I would love to get a chance to interact. That's always my favorite. Again, we're people. We're real people. So did I just? I did. I didn't. I was not aware of the slide. We actually have a slide for it. Look at that. That's funny. Well, I'll let you guys read the slide while I take a sip. Right. So we got our deal qualifier. Again, see if a deal qualifies and what they qualify for, and then submit that thing instantly. It's a pretty simple, a pretty simple process. It's a pretty easy resource to leverage. And again, not every resource is meant for every partner. I think that this is probably the most important thing. I think that sometimes people get overwhelmed, like, oh my God, I got to pick this, I got to do that, I got to do this, I got to do that. No, you don't have to do all of it. You just got to do what works for you. You got to do what works for the businesses in your network. And then from that point on, I promise you, we'll take it and we'll run the ball into the end zone. You got Tony lead blocking, so you'll be fine. I promise. That was a little football reference as we wrap up the preseason of the NFL and move into college football season. In the chat, football fan, I want to know who's your favorite team, college, NFL. Throw it in the chat. I'm all about the football world. So my world is changing. Notre Dame, Texas Tech, the New York Giants. I love it. I love it. I love it. The Redskins, the Patriots, the Bears in Iowa, the 49ers, the Eagles, the Patriots, the Cowboys. There was actually just a video, a little viral video that I saw. I am a Giant fan. For those of you that might not know, I'm in New York. I'm a Giant fan, but I'm also a Giant hater. I'll be honest. I'll be the first person to hate on my football team. I'm very critical of a football team because of my background. But what I did see the other day was a viral video about the Cowboys, and it was a young woman recording her boyfriend or fiance. They weren't married. I don't remember if it said fiance or boyfriend or whatever it said. But basically she's recording her boyfriend, and she's talking about needing a VCR. If you're super young, you might not even know what a VCR is, but I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say most of you guys know what a VCR is. And he starts asking her, like, what do you need a VCR for? And she's like, oh, I it's actually for you. And he's like, oh, what do you need? Why are you getting me a VCR? Everything that I could ever need was put on DVD or this or that. She goes, oh, I wanted you to be able to watch the last time the Cowboys were in the Super Bowl. And that is my football joke for the day. For those of you that understand it, you get it. If not, I'll move away from that analogy. But I just thought that was hysterical. The video's going viral for a reason, right? It's been that long since the Cowboys won a Super Bowl. So definitely appreciate everybody for keeping me me entertained and entertaining me with the with the football talk. But definitely excited for football season. My son is actually playing tackle football for the first time. He's 5 years old. I'm coaching his team. We have practice this evening. So just know that we are rocking and rolling in the Semino household when it comes to football this season. I'm excited for college. I'm excited for the NFL, but most importantly, I'm excited for the youth football 5-6 kindergarten, first grade team. That's the most exciting thing on my football repertoire this year. I'll also be helping out at a local high school, so I am excited to help out with the Cougars as well. But definitely a big football fan on my end. So sorry for all the references and sorry for all the off topic, but some couple quick success stories. If you know me, you know we're getting to the end here, right? But a couple quick success stories. I always like to make it a point of you guys seeing some of the more recent fundings. Why are they borrowing the money? How long did it take them to get access to the funding? All of this information available to you at your fingertips. So I always like to highlight those things, right? The one thing that I did want to highlight with these two success stories, other than just the industry, is actually the product on the right side. I believe it's the right side for the $1.5 million funding. And that is multiple products, right? I don't know if you guys are familiar with ROK, but like, you don't need to just qualify for one product, right? A lot of times, what we're able to do is qualify you for multiple products and then structure those in a way that makes the most sense for the business to take advantage of why they're borrowing the money in the first place. So this was a good example of that. Not only that, it's obviously a decent sizable funding, right? We'll fund deals as little as $5,000 all the way up to 10, maybe even $20 million. So $1.5 million is a good size deal, good size transaction. Definitely a nice deal for for that partner who was able to turn one transaction into three commissions, right? Because each deal has its own commission tied to it. So they're seeing the same name in their portal three times for all three of those fundings. How great does that feel, right? So it's definitely an advantage to you guys that we are able to offer multiple styles of funding and really structure them to make sense, because dollars make sense, if I'm being honest. So uh, the reviews, couple quick reviews for you guys. Don't take my word for it. Get online, jump on Google, go to Trustpilot. You will see somebody recently left us a poor Google review. I can tell you that that was definitely not the scenario of how that went down. But if you're in business, you know that the people that leave reviews are typically looking to leave the negative ones. Not everybody is willing to jump out of their skin and leave you a positive one. So the fact that we maintain a 4.9 or 5.0 rating across all platforms, we have thousands of reviews. It won't be long before that review gets buried, and ultimately you go back to seeing exactly what it is, right? I'm a firm believer in you doing your own research, so feel free to do so. If you aren't yet an affiliate of ROK, because I'm sure that there's some people that might not quite be signed up, or they're not sure where they're at, or maybe at one point they were on one of these webinars but never quite made it all the way through. Here's a QR code on your screen. It's really for you guys to leverage. Again, ask us questions, talk about the partnership, talk about how to leverage those things. It's really going to benefit you, if I'm being honest. The one thing that I try to make apparent, and I know I mentioned this on a lot of the webinars, so forgive me if you guys are a regular and you've heard this before, but if you want to maximize your potential within the partnership, then pretend you're the CEO of ROK Financial. Right? Pretend you are the CEO of ROK Financial. If you do that, you'll know exactly the direction that you want to take this thing in, and you will know all of the resources that you have access to do so. Right? So that would be my best piece of advice. Right? That would be my best way to get started. Is think about this thing from the perspective of you have access to all the resource, you have everything that you need, and here it is laid out for you to be able to take advantage of. If you're just looking for general information, feel free to give us a call, send us an email. Jump to our website. There's a ton of information. We got blogs, we got products, we got flyers, we got resources. You name it, we're here to give it to you. You can send us a smoke signal. You can connect with us on social media. You should certainly follow us on YouTube. You should certainly follow us on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter, or X. You name it, we're using it. You can connect with us there. I posted a very, very funny Instagram reel the other day. Not sure if you saw it, but girl math is a real thing. And if you are somebody that's just looking for more information, you want to connect with Tony, I'm going to throw my email in the chat now so everybody has access to it. I do believe this is our last slide, so I can stop the share to my screen here in a second. But let me just share my email so you guys have it in case you guys got to jump off. Sorry, I just had to change the chat to everybody. Tony at rock.biz, because I'm sure you guys get emails from Tony C at rock.biz. You might even respond to that, but I don't always see those emails because they're filtered. There's thousands of them. So if you can and you're looking for Tony, feel free to jump over to my email, shoot me an email, send me a text, send me call my phone. I love talking to partners. It's not something I get to do all day, every day anymore. So if I do get a chance to chat with you, I truly appreciate it. You have all my attention. You will certainly have my brain working for you. So feel free to, ask me the ideas that you're having. Feel free to leverage the information I might have access to. But more than anything, it's important that you guys know that we're really just here to be a resource for you. I hope that I don't got to wait till next month's webinar to hear from you guys. So hopefully we hear from you guys in the meantime. Otherwise, if I don't get a chance to talk to you until next time, thank you guys, and keep rocking, everybody. Have a great day.